Howdy, my rockin' rats. Welcome to episode 10. What a freaking monumental episode. And I don't want to, be glass half empty or anything, but don't get your hopes up because I am simply exhausted and this this may not be the episode 10 that you guys deserve, but I will do my best. Why am I simply exhausted? I mean, life has been kicking my ass as of late. I think also I've just had a lot going on. Um, so we'll dive right in and I'll catch you right up on what's been going on. If you can't tell, my bags have bags, but they're designer, so that's all that matters. So my nanny passed away recently. My great grandmother. R.I.P. Nanny. Love that woman to death, my heart and soul. And I just feel really blessed also that like I had her for as long as I had her because my son got to have a great great grandmother for almost his entire first year of life. So that's pretty amazing. I also feel like growing up too, when I'd be like my nanny, like everyone would always assume like I was talking about like my grandmother, and I'm like, nope, my great grandmother. Flex, maybe. So yeah, that was heavy, and happening in a time where, obviously we've had a lot going on. As I've mentioned in a couple of episodes, we've been redoing the back deck so that we would have that done for my son's party. Um, Lots of different things. Obviously, he had his birthday and then his party, so a lot been going on. Today is also my mother's birthday, so happy birthday, my guardian angel. Love you, queen. Um, you haven't aged today, so I'm sure that's something you really love because you don't have to worry about the Botox. So good for you, mom. Um, and then yeah, so the dude turned one. I think like it's absolutely insane that happened, I guess is the word. But like really like where did the time go? Truly, I remember being a kid and like adults would always be like time flies, and I'm like, what is it with old people talking about time flying? Because it doesn't, but it actually does. And so the more I realize how fast time flies, I'm like, oh my god, that means I'm old because I get the concept now. Um I just don't it's I feel like when you're in the moment, especially in maybe like some stages in life, it feels so slow until that time has passed and then you're like, "Wait, it was not slow at all. Like I was in a time warp." Um So yeah, he had his pictures done. We had birthday this weekend. So you're honestly lucky that you even got this episode. I really thought about it and I was like, maybe I'll just like not do one this week. And I was like, you could do it. You can rally. I used to rally all the time, so I can do it for my rats. So party was a success. I was really, really nervous all of like last week because the weather was supposed to be nice. And then all of a sudden, like, it was projecting like storms for Saturday, and I was like, "Yo, there's a lot of people coming to this thing." And not that my house is small, but do I think I could have accommodated that many people comfortably just in my home? No, because I had the whole like idea of using my backyard. Plus, we just did like the deck. So I was like, oh my God. I was having slight freakouts, but it's okay because I was just manifesting all week for no rain on Saturday. And guess what? manifestation works. There was no rain. So, bounce house was able to be here, all of that stuff. And I mean, like, even though it was kind of overcast, it was still just like such a nice day. I don't know. I had a great time. And then today, the freaking bottom fell out of the sky. It's been disgusting all day, which I don't think helps the fact that I'm already so exhausted because, I mean, you know how it is when it's like raining and you don't want to do anything at all. And not only is it raining, but it's like thunderstorm raining. So, and like heavy downpouring. So it's not like a rain where I'm like, yeah, let me like go run my errands and stuff. It's not that big of a deal. It's like, no, you're not leaving the house. Um, but I guess my laundry was thankful for that. So, yeah. I'm excited to sleep this weekend though, this coming weekend because your girl has nothing on her calendar for like the next month. Nothing that requires me to travel at least or do anything monumental on my end. So, period. Go off, queen, aka me. I think the only thing that I'm going to be working on in the next month is I really want to get my raised bed garden going because you guys, my wildflower garden is just germinating away. I am so pumped to like see the flowers and stuff. I will say, I felt like quite a bit of research and everything I researched said to like mix the seeds in with some sand. So when you throw it, you can see like where you've gone. And I was like, oh my God, genius. Duh, that makes a lot of sense. I still somehow managed to miss like a few. I wouldn't say miss, but there it's not as heavily populated as some other spots. So I don't know if I just didn't do a really great job mixing within the sand. Um yeah. So, but I have a feeling like once they're actually like grown up, it's going to be so like dense that the patchier areas won't, you know, look so bad. That's again what I'm manifesting, you know what I mean? So, cool. Um, but I do want to get my raised bed garden going because like I said, I'm trying to be that bitch who has a vegetable garden, who's growing her own fruits and veggies and stuff like that, and you know, trad wife kind of stuff. Although you won't catch me being one of those. I do just want to feel like Susie Homemaker, but not full Susie Homemaker. Who was I talking about that with? Oh man. Oh, my friend Piper. We were talking about that this weekend. Like, she was like, "How's work?" And I'm like, "Work." And she was like, "Same." And she was like, "When is Matthew gonna like get you to where you can stop working?" And I'm like, honestly though, like I am not cut out to stay at home and like be Susie Homemaker all day. Like I can do 50-50. Like I could see myself doing like part-time and being Susie Homemaker part-time, but I cannot do Susie Homemaker mom life 24/7. I need to feel like I'm serving a purpose outside of my home or I think I would go mentally insane. Um and she was like, "Yeah, same." But it's like the fact that I have to. That's like, how dare the world do this to me? You know what I mean? So excited about that. Okay. Need to, I feel like, I mean, it's only been 2 weeks since I talked about this because last episode was with James. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Um, but the episode before that, I was talking about some of the current shows and stuff and some shit that's been really trash. But Mayor of Kingstown, watched the finale. Oh my god. I was like definitely thinking it would be a good finale because the last couple episodes had been pretty good compared to the beginning where I was like, damn, like this had the potential to be so great. Wound up actually being so great. So, I remember, I think it was, so yeah, that was episode 8 where I was like, not sure if they'll have another season. They're definitely gonna have another season. I'm pretty sure it's already like in the works, but um the plot twist upon plot twist. Let me tell you, I am so excited to figure out what's going on with some of these characters. And probably skip ahead maybe like 15 or 30 seconds because I'm not going to be able to not give the spoiler away if you haven't watched it. But my girl Iris, why did you do that? I mean, I feel bad for her because Mike did kind of just be like, goodbye, but he was doing it for her own sake for sure because, bitch, why do you even want to be there? Go live your life somewhere else. Constantine, why can't I say his name right now? Constantine, there we go, girlfriend, was even trying to get her out. So maybe you should listen, but I feel bad for her. I'm going to miss her. So Mayor of Kingstown, Chef's Kiss, excited for season 4. Whenever that's going to be. I did try to, like, I feel like anytime I finish a season of something and it's like something that's currently developing, I am always like immediately then researching, like, when is the next season coming out? Have they started? I was able to uncover that supposedly they've already started filming, but nothing else. Nothing about release dates, nothing about like who's for sure in the cast. But yeah, 1923. We're probably several episodes, I mean maybe 2 episodes behind at this point. I don't have it in me to like really make that a priority. What has been a priority clearly as of late has been Southern Charm and Southern let me just punch myself in the face really quickly. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Southern Charm and Summer House. I'm not even going to take that out because you guys got to know perfect human beings make mistakes too. Duh. Okay. So Summer House and Southern Charm. Obviously, Southern Charm is done in Reunion Part 2 or Part 2. Jesus. This is how tired I am, you guys. But we're going to rally and we're going to finish up. Part 1, Thursday. So watch that. Honestly, what the fuck? Why did the entire reunion need to be about Craig and Paige? That's exactly what I felt like the entire reunion was. And I'm like, okay, obviously, like, Paige Stan, love Giggly Squad, Giggler, all that kind of stuff. Love Hannah Burner, in stand up and like stuff like that. I will say, like, when I first started watching Summer House, which I started watching Summer House after discovering Giggly Squad, I was like, this cannot be the Hannah that I listened to on the podcast. Anyways, I digress on that. We're going to go back to what is the main focus. But I'm like, why did this entire reunion need to be about Craig and Paige and sprinkled in with some of the like Sienna stuff? And what other drama was there that they were talking about? I don't even know because I feel like it was just all and then like some of the JT stuff. Um it's just kind of annoying. And then it's kind of like I'm just like, Craig, shut up. But and then I didn't watch all of the Watch What Happens Live after the reunion because I was like, I don't know if I could sit here and listen to Austin, Craig, and Shep talk for an extended period of time, like on Watch What Happens Live. I can do it on Southern Charm because it's not just them. But I was like, I don't think I can be a part of this. So I watched a little bit of it. And then obviously saw some stuff on TikTok. But like, I just don't understand why Craig is like playing victim so much, but then he's like, oh, and by the way, I have a girlfriend. Okay. Which, whatever, Paige may have a boy, may have already had a boy, but like, she's being an unbothered queen and keeping that to herself, and he's out here like broadcasting it. So I just kind of feel like in a way it's like no one's saying anything about him and this new girl, but the supposed stuff with Paige and this guy has been like front page news. Again, with the double standard. It's quite annoying. Um I do like Summer House is okay. It's getting better because I know a couple episodes before earlier too. I was like, Summer House is just not vibing with me right now because I mean, I still stand by what I said. Like, I don't get it, and I make like the little clips and kind of post them on my socials and stuff. And one of them that was on TikTok, someone commented like, I don't think if you're like not from New York or that area, you would understand like the Hamptons life in the summer. And I'm like, okay, valid. Because the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, like, I do feel like the Hamptons is probably a place for like rich old people. So maybe it's justified that they're 40 something years old, still just going out and partying. But I also feel like no, because the Hamptons may be like rich old people, but they're not going to the clubs and they've like already done stuff with their lives. I don't know. So Summer House is getting a little bit better though because I feel like the plot lines being more developed. I don't even know if that's really a thing for reality TV plot lines because I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're featuring more stuff that's worthy of my screen time. But I will say, the one thing that Craig said on Watch What Happens Live, which probably he wasn't supposed to say this, was like the comment about how Summer House like cast are being really negative about him all of a sudden when that like wasn't how it was when filming was happening. So I'm assuming he's talking about some of the confessionals because I don't know how they work. I've always wondered that. Like, are they like, is there a screen behind them and, like they're being videoed and asked the questions, but like they're watching the clip and then responding to that clip? Or are they just like having to remember certain pieces of the summer and stuff? Or is it just like question based? Like producers are straight up asking them questions and they're just responding with like what they would normally respond without knowing what they've all also said on camera. I don't know. Would love to know more about that. But him saying the being a little bit more negative, I do feel like okay, kind of valid because in the beginning, I remember like Paige said something, very not that the other stuff she said has been unkind in her confessionals, but I think she's maybe been a little bit more blunt and like to the point about some of her and Craig's stuff. But in one of the first couple episodes, she was like, I am a completely different person now than the person like that Craig first started dating. And, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to apologize for like being somewhere I've always wanted to be in life, but that does probably suck a little bit for him. So I was like, okay, cool. I can see what he's saying because in the last episode, the confessionals were very like, and I do feel like a lot of the editing was really tailored around like Craig and how he's not being supportive, which fuck that, honestly though. Like, how could you not be excited for your significant other if their life was going in like a direction of them accomplishing so many things? Like, I feel like it would be like, well, we're both fucking killing it. Even if one person's killing it more than the other, it'd be like, fuck yeah. But I do feel like Craig was very in this mindset of like, well, I need to have kids and need to be married and da 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 da, and didn't expect that to not be with Paige. But I don't really think, I mean, maybe she did feel this way, but I don't really feel like Paige ever like was 100% like, absolutely, I'm going to have your kids and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. It was always very like, maybe there's no timeline on when I'm going to do these things. But Craig was always like, well, I don't want to do like be this many years old and be doing this still, like da 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 da. So I feel like there was always a disconnect there. And I think I really started to notice that last summer. Well, probably, I guess, like in reality 2 summers ago, but like last year when Summer House aired, when there was it's probably like one of the last episodes where Craig and Paige were like at the park in New York City and having a conversation, and like it was where he was like, well, I don't want to feel like I've, wasted this many years and like you're never gonna want what I want. She was like, well, like I'm gonna want that. I just don't know when. Um and that's when I was like, ooh, I don't know how long this will work. So we'll see what my thoughts are after the reunion part 2 and after Summer House continues to develop. But that's where I'm at with Bravo right now. Will also love TikTok because it has been blowing me up with Real Housewives clips and like most iconic moments. And let me tell you, I really got to get back into Real Housewives of Atlanta and start watching because I think I got to like season 4 or 5 and there's like 11 of them bitches. So I got to get back in it cuz there's some really iconic stuff. Um and I feel like I need to dive more into like what the Nene and Andy drama is or what the Nene and I guess Bravo drama is, which therefore included Andy, I guess. Uh but yeah. Okay, yawning. Um Let's see. I also, just for shits and gigs, the other night started watching like Temptation Island because I didn't feel like reading, but I was like, well, I need something because I'm not like fully ready to go to bed. You know, when you're like so tired, because when I say I'm not just exhausted today, I've been exhausted like every single day for the past like 2 weeks at this point almost because I've probably haven't been going to bed till like midnight almost every single night. And to some of you, you're probably like, that's a normal night. And it used to be for me. But your girl is not used to insomnia anymore, not getting at least 8, to 10 hours of sleep at night anymore. So it's struggle for me to not get appropriate amounts of sleep. Also with fibromyalgia, like I already have like brain fog and fatigue in general. So if I'm not like getting appropriate sleep, and let's be real here, like I don't feel I have not had the time to I feel like even like give myself appropriate nutrition because I've just been running around like a chicken with its head cut off, and I will be changing that this week. I actually was talking to my psychiatrist about that on Friday, where I was like, okay, I know now, like, I've got to start meal prepping again because I can't just keep like protein bar, protein shake, protein this, protein that. Like, and then she started telling me, crazy thing, that actually, if all you're doing is like drinking liquids and doing basically like a liquid diet, probably used a lot more technical terms than this. And let's be real, also was exhausted for this appointment. So didn't probably listen to all the information. But something about just only drinking liquids and not actually like exercising your esophagus with like eating and swallowing and chewing and all of that stuff can make you aversive to doing so, or not necessarily you, but your body aversive to wanting to eat anything, or make it more difficult. And I was like, you know what, obviously it's clearly true because you're telling me it is true, but that makes a lot of sense. So great. But I started watching Temptation Island on Netflix. I don't know if this is like the first season it's ever been made. I'm assuming it's not. because I feel like I've heard of it before. I have not gotten very far in it because it's almost so awful and soul crushing that I'm like, I don't I don't really know if I want to watch this. But it's also like, are people this fucking crazy? Clearly. Um, I don't understand. If that's what you want to do, I just couldn't imagine myself being like, oh my God, my relationship is having problems. Let's go on a TV show where we go to an island and we're separated and we basically get to date other people and we'll make rules. For those of you who are just audio listening, I did some quotations there because who's going to follow those rules? I mean, I feel like haven't gotten far enough in it to see anyone technically break the rules, but I'm like, yo, my rule would be literally don't speak or talk to or look at anyone else. And you can't even do that. So, AKA, I wouldn't be going on the show. So I'm confused. I'm like, oh, okay, you have relationship problems. And then half of the people there are like, yeah, and we have history problems of like infidelity or whatever. And I'm like, and you're letting each other go on a show to basically set you up for that. I mean, I can see the appeal of being like, "Oh, I know my partner is has been tempted to their limits and is always going to choose me." But like, shouldn't you just know that anyways? And trust in that anyways? And if you can't without like physical proof by doing something like that, like is it worth it? I don't think it would be for me. But I think also a lot of these people are probably just trying to be influencers, so that's like another way for them to do that. So, good for them. Current reads. I'm currently reading this book. Okay, it's another T.L. Swan book, which I've been reading a lot of recently. It's probably going to be one of my top authors this year. But plotline not really there in a lot of these books, so FYI. Definitely more smut than plotline, but it's called Stanton Adore. I'm like halfway through it. It's okay. What are they? There's some other ones I've read by T.L. Swan that I feel like I resonated with a little bit more. I do feel like I'm at the point now, I'm at like 66% where the plot that is there is starting to develop and I'm like, okay, I think some crazy stuff is going to go down and that'll make this more than just the smut I'm reading. So, gotta get my blanket. I'm getting a little chilly. So, I'm excited for that. I'll keep you posted. Hopefully, I'll finish it in a couple days. I did also read right before that just a quick little 300 pager little hockey romance. I hadn't read a hockey romance in so long, and it was actually Christmas themed. I don't know how it popped up on my TikTok because it was like something someone posted during Christmas, but it popped up on my algorithm. So I was like, whatever, I'll read it. It's only like 350 pages. So I think I finished it in like a night and a half. Oh, goalie night, I think. It was cute. I was like, oh, you know what? This is cute. Little meet cute. Little forbidden love. We love that. Onyx Storm, don't have any updates for you guys. Literally, I put it back on my bookshelf because I don't know. I'm just not motivated for it. I don't know why. I'm actually kind of sad because I literally did a entire reread of the series so that I could be prepared for it. And now I'm just not even interested. So I'm like, am I going to have to reread again by the time I'm interested in reading this book? I sure hope not. For those of you watching, I'm wearing one of my favorite shirts in the entire world, the Bat Boys. And if Sarah J. Maas could come out with some information on this other book, that would be great. I'm a little offended though, because when I read this series, I was like, oh, we love that. A completed fantasy series. I don't have to wait on any other books to drop, pop off. And then it's like, no, it's not completed. And I'm like, oh, Well, that sucks because I don't want to anticipate anything else. And I tried to read Throne of Glass, can't do it. I'll try again one day, but there's like not even any like slow burn, and I need something to keep me turning the pages, you know what I mean? Um I get it though. It was like the first series I guess she ever wrote, so she was like 15, I guess, when she started writing it. So I'm glad you weren't thinking those things at that age, Sarah J. Maas. Um but I couldn't do it. Although everyone's like, that's the best series she's ever wrote. I'm like, also, it's fucking 8 books. And some of those bitches are huge. Don't get me wrong. Silver Flames was large and quite lengthy, bigger than the Bible. And but like I want to say I feel like the last 3 books in the Throne of Glass series are like that size. And I'm like, and then there's like the tandem read that you do with 2 of them. And I'm like, yo, that's not going to work for me. How are you reading 2 of them at the same time? Like, I know I've seen the memes on like TikTok and Reels and stuff where it's like what people think tandem reading is, what it actually is. And I'm like, okay. And they're like holding the book, one book in one hand and one book in the other, and like going back and forth. But I'm like, okay, but isn't that actually what it is? Am I missing something here? Maybe you're not having to do it like right at the same time, but I'm assuming, okay, you read chapters 1 and 2 in this one. Oh, now you go to this one and read chapters 1 and 2, and then you go back to this one. I'm like, why would someone do that? Just write the books so that they're flowing that way. I don't know. So I think I did mention, but if I didn't, the backyard and the deck look phenomenal. I was hesitant there for a while because just a lot of technical things that, like I say all the time, I'm just a girl. It's not my job to know those things. But oh my god, the deck is just beautiful. And I love the outdoor little sectional set I got. Well, it's not even you can make it a sectional, but you can also, like right now I have it split up to where it's 2 chairs on one side, 2 chairs on one side, the little like coffee table thing, I guess, and then like the couch. And then in the middle, I have a fire pit table, and I'm like over the moon about this fire pit table. It just uses a propane tank because we used to have a fire pit that obviously you would have to use real logs for and everything. And I'm definitely the type of girl who I'll be like, oh, I want a fire. Like, and then I'm out there for 10 minutes and I'm like, I got my fill. I'm going back inside. And Matthew would always be so mad at me because he's like, you realize it took me more time to even just build this and get it going to a point where you could come out here and enjoy it than you even spent out here. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I want to go inside. Um, sorry. So now we've solved that problem. We don't have the fire pit anymore. We just have this little fire table. Because you could simply just turn it on and off. So I can get my 10 minutes, go back inside, and then maybe even go back out there later. So that's on one side. And then we had to go to Old Time Pottery and get like a table and chairs for the other side too, because I did not anticipate like how big it actually is. And on one side, I was thinking, obviously, his grill's over there, and I have like some of my plants. And I was thinking like a bistro set would suffice, but no, 2-seater would not. So we did get like a table and 4 chairs. And we also talked about it too. And I was like, you know what? That's a better idea though, too. Cause if we like cook dinner for people and they're over one night, like we can just eat out there and like have the space for that and it not have to be over on the couches. It can be like a different thing. Um, so yeah, I'm really impressed with how it looks. Matthew and I are both like literally no more projects, but isn't that funny because you say no more projects and then we were talking about today how um we have this to do, this to do, this to do. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, because our water heater, that's another thing that happened to me with life kicking my ass. Our water heater started leaking And it was like while we had been gone for my nanny's funeral, and we came back and we're like, I think this has been leaking. Had to get that fixed. And of course it like had to get fixed just a few days before the party, and like me having company and all of that, and we did not have time to be doing drywall and things like that. So Matthew's gonna have to do that this weekend, re-drywall it all, because it's just a gaping hole where I had to rip everything out so that they could fix the leak for now. Just again goes back to one of my statements in one of my episodes about sometimes being a homeowner, I do think is a scam. Because if I was renting, that would be somebody else's problem. But then obviously Matthew has to be logical and be like, right, but if we didn't own our home, then this like new back porch you have would not be something that we could do. And I'm like, fine, you win. So, yep, backyard looks great, porch looks great, wildflower garden, I'm so impressed with. My front garden, I did, not to boost me up or anything, but I did such a great job picking out the plants that needed to go in the spots to fill that. And it just looks so beautiful. And I'm like, oh, we need to be in like Home and Garden magazine. Put my house on there. All I need to do now is have a little raised bed garden, and I can have like a centerfold spread in there talking to, oh, what is it? Southern Living. That's what it needs to be on. I can be talking to all these Southern women about how I'm just better than them in all aspects, with my garden going crazy. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to have to hit the hay because I can feel myself going into a heavy state of delusion and my eyes rolling in the back of my head. I hope episode 10 was monumental enough, considering I feel like this is a huge accomplishment for myself. Not necessarily in me trying to be like, oh my God, I'm doing so great. But I am just really proud of myself that I've brought this to fruition. I've continued to like put effort into this, even like today when I'm fucking exhausted and would rather do literally anything horizontal, laying in my bed, going to sleep. But I was like, you know what? I need to talk to my rats. I need to stay committed. So I hope you enjoyed episode 10. As always, check out the socials at Feral Thoughts Pod, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And if you are enjoying the pod and you're new here and you haven't subscribed, followed, gotten notifications turned on for episodes that drop weekly on Mondays, do that and leave a review and some comments if you'd like. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. And until next time, my rats.